Yes, I saw that.
Tom is the only one who can't come because he's not available on Wednesday, he's only available Thursday. He was only available Thursday afternoon, and I was like, nope, that doesn't work, so I'm not well. And so I correct. So, I told him that he and I will meet next Monday, and I'll go over everything with him. Okay.
I just sent an email to all my commissioners, see who's
Oh,
what's the
thank
No
you.
response just yet, it's not been 24 hours.
Okay.
So we'll see. Did you send an invite?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then I'm gonna say something today
Yeah.
at the meeting.
Oh, public comment?
Yeah. big announcement. And then I have the billboard now. So if you want to put something up on the electronic. You saw it? Yeah, nice. So can I send you the same thing for this? Okay. 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 Nice. It looks really good, doesn't it? Yeah.
So tomorrow, 2 p.m.
Thank you.
I'll let you know about planning commissioners.
I'll be all,
remind
in
you
the
then.
morning I'll golf, and then in the afternoon I'll be all AI.
When?
Tomorrow.
But it's not the tournament.
The tournament is next week.
Next week, because you're golf.
Yeah.
Oh, golf, like planning.
Yeah, planning.
Okay, I thought you were actually going to go.
Meaning my work day. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
How are you?
Good.
That's a step ahead.
It is not. Come on, sit down.
All right, you guys ready? We'll look over and make sure IT is good before we get started. And I got the thumbs up. All right, good evening. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the City Council meeting / Housing Authority / Successor Agency, now that we've all rolled all of our agendas into one. And we'll start with the roll call. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Spencer Wong.
Present.
Councilmember Popescu.
Here.
Councilmember Rigsby.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Daly.
Here.
Mayor Duper.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Councilmember Popescu.
Let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve our community and this wonderful state and country. We ask that you bless our decision-making ability here and help us to make wise decisions that will be for the benefit for everybody involved. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. City Manager, are there any items to be added or deleted?
No, sir, but Mr. Mayor, I would like to move the item of 5L, which is in the consent calendar, up to 4B, which would be a scheduled agenda items, please.
Okay. Who wants to?
So item 5L, which is consent calendar, but I would like to move it to 4B. So this way, I would like to get some direction from the city council, and I will do a little presentation.
Okay, we can do that. We'll also deal with any conflicts of interest if they arise Now we're going to open up to the public participation portion of our meeting. This is a time when anyone can speak on any non-agendized item. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes pursuant to the Brown Act. No action or discussion can be taken by the council or housing authority or successor agency on items that are not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have Andrea De Leon.
Awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Always good to see each of you. I wanted to come today because we have a couple of exciting things that are going on with our Chamber of Commerce. And I just wanted to share with you, am I talking too loud? I just wanted to share with you some invitations, and each one of you have them already in your respective electronic mailboxes. But just so you know, we have our golf tournament coming next Wednesday. And as always, I could use players and exciting things like that. But even bigger than that, and more important than that, we have an AI summit coming up. And we have launched what we're calling the Loma Linda Leadership Summit. We're collaborating with the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Loma Linda, and the University, Loma Linda University Health. And so the three together really just signify that how important it is that Loma Linda really have some important conferences and share some important information. We're very proud to launch the first one, which will focus on AI, and it's called the AI in the IE, and that will be on Friday, November 7th at 8:30 a.m. And we're just delighted to report that we have some amazing speakers lined up. We're going to start the morning with the CEO from the hospital, and so he'll talk about AI and health. And then we're going to move into some security conversations from Cal State University San Bernardino, and I'll receive a presentation from their cybersecurity director and then department. And then we have now been blessed today with 2 speakers from Esri that we're going to talk about where they are in AI. We're going to end our day with lunch, so to speak. I have one more to talk about after that. Because we have received the blessing, I just want to call it a blessing, that our Congressman Jay Obernolte, will address us to talk about where we are in a national scope. And he is the chairman for the Congressional Task Force on AI, so he'll be able to tell us where we are not only nationally but internationally. So we're looking forward to that. We'll end the day with a conversation, hopefully talking to all of the panelists and seeing where we are. We'd love to see each of you there. I'm so proud to say that our mayor will do our welcome that morning, and I really hope that you guys can put it on your agenda to attend. And I really wanted to say it today here because I'd like to open that also up to the public, so everybody that's listening and watching would know that they too are invited to participate and attend. So thank you so much.
Andrea, are they going to send out an announcement at the university? Because I didn't see, it's held in Centennial Complex? Is that where they're going to hold it?
Oh, thank you for that. It's at the Drayson Center, and I will ask that tomorrow morning at our committee meeting, or tomorrow afternoon at our committee meeting, and see if they'll send out an invite
To both the university side and the medical side.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, I thought our councilman had a question too.
If the mayor's introducing it, I'll be there. I mean, that's
Right on. I think I have 3 more interested now. Thank you. I do hope you come. Thank you.
so it's at the Drayson Center in the conference room there.
Yes, sir.
And at what time?
At 8:30, we'll start with some continental breakfast, and then we'll also be providing lunch.
And how long does it last?
Plan to be there till 2:30 if you want to hear all of the speakers, which each one of them are emeritus all on their own.
And that's November 7th?
Friday, November 7th, yes.
Thank
And
you.
if you're not getting my emails, I want to know. So, but I do hope that you are getting the emails.
I get whatever Lynette passes on to me.
Oh,
I've
okay.
got too many email addresses. She knows how to reach me.
I understand that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And if anybody has any other questions, please contact the Chamber of Commerce.
I have lots of questions about AI, so that's why I'm interested.
Right. And I think that we're trying here to kind of envelop the whole scope of what could be some of the things that we're seeing as hindrances and some of the things that we should be seeing as help.
Thank you.
Thank
Andrea,
you.
thank you for taking this
Absolutely.
on. Great job. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our public hearing items, beginning with 3A. And this is adopting new California fire codes as recommended and mandated by the state.
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's that time of the code cycle to come up here and talk about adopting the new codes. The International Fire Code updates their codes every 3 years. California, through Title 24 and Title 19, then goes in and decides what amendments they want to make to the International Fire Code. And then that's when we come here to adopt, make any changes in our own municipal code, and then it goes into effect of January of the following year. So these new codes will go into effect January 1st of 2026. The biggest change during this code adoption cycle is my predecessors who were fire marshals many, many years ago. You might have heard the names of like Roland Crawford. He was here in the early 90s. He was way ahead of his time by creating some of these municipal codes that, you know, required fire sprinklers in single family homes. They adopted municipally the International Wildland Urban Interface Code. This was done years and years and years before California ever caught up. Now the codes have finally caught up to what those guys saw coming. So a lot of this stuff, the language that we're cleaning up in the municipal code, is things that they foresaw coming many, many years before, but the code's finally caught up. So there's no reason to, like, you know, double dip or repeat what the fire code's already come up with. And the International Wildland Urban Face Code is great. California finally saw the benefit of it because of all these historic fires we're having with hardening of the homes, with the box eaves, the roofing structure, the hardening of the sides, the landscaping. So California this year finally came with the California Urban Interface Code. So we no longer have to adopt the International Wildland Urban Interface Code. California's finally caught up and have their own wildland code. So we'll be adopting that as well. And that will help with new projects in the future with, you know, hardening for wildland fire if they're built in the very high fire hazard severity zone. So I'll open up to any of you. You've had it in your packets if there's any major codes that you saw that you want some clarification on. If not, and I'll give you guys a second to see if there's anything you guys wanted to look through. It's pretty standard procedure to go through this process every 3 years, but I want to leave it to you if there's any codes that you had any questions or comments on. And if not, I'll get into the recommendation. We'll do the first reading today, and then the second reading will happen next council meeting, and then they'll become adopted January 1st, 2026.
It is a public hearing, so I can open the public hearing first, or we can take questions from the dais. Dr. Daly. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone with any comment on this particular agendized item is welcome to step forward. Okay, seeing none. Scott, you put the ball game down for a minute? You're good, okay. All right, seeing that no one's coming forward, we'll close the public hearing and questions or comments from the council. Dr. Daly, sir.
So we've got a month, but what I would like to do, I was speaking with Dan earlier, meet with you and him because I do have a few questions about these things. I understand this is kind of routine procedure.
Yes, sir.
But with all the fires and people who have had insurance, fire insurance canceled and so forth, I do have some questions. I don't want to just give an automatic vote for something I don't fully understand the implications for.
That's fair.
So sometime in the next 3-4 weeks, maybe the three of us can get together.
Absolutely.
Anybody else that wants to be included.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. So then I'll get to the recommendation for tonight. It is recommended that the City Council introduce on first reading Council Bill O-2025-04, waive the reading in its entirety, direct to read by title only, and set the second reading to November 18th, 2025. And the ordinance title is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda adopting and amending the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, adopting and amending the 2024 edition of the International Fire Code, and repealing Chapter 5.28 of the Municipal Code. And then the second do I need to wait? Can I do all three recommendations? Okay. And the second one is adopt as recommended Council Bill R-2025-36, waive the reading in its entirety and direct to read by title only resolution title, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda to comply with the State of California Health and Safety Code sections 17958, 17958.5, and 17958.7 relating to the adoption of the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code. And number 3 is introduced on first reading Council Bill 0-2025-05, waive the reading in its entirety, direct to read by title only, and set the second reading to November 18, 2025 ordinance title, an ordinance of the City Council of the Loma Linda adopting and amending the 2025 edition of the California Wildland Urban Interface Code.
Thank you. We'll accept movement.
I'll move as stated.
Okay. We have a first.
And I support with the understanding we've got a month to
Yes, sir.
sort the details out.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you.
second by Dr. Daly. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Tom. You read my motion, but I'll repeat that. Motion is to introduce on first reading and set the second reading to November 18th, 2025, which is what the council had discussed at the last meeting, to schedule the November meeting to the November 18th meeting. For Council Bill number O-2025-04, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda adopting and amending the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, adopting and amending the 2024 edition of the International Fire Code, and repealing Chapter 15.28 of the Municipal Code. Motion to adopt as recommended, Council Bill R-2025-36, waiving the full reading and read by title only. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda to comply with the State of California Health and Safety Code Section 17958, 17958.5, and 17958.7 relating to the adoption of the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code. And motion to introduce on first reading and set the second reading to November 18th, waiving the reading in full and read by title only, Council Bill O-2025-05, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda adopting and amending the 2025 edition of the California Wildland Urban Interface Code. I will take your vote, please. Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom. We'll see you next month. Okay, we'll move on now to our scheduled agenda items, beginning with 4A. And this is an appeal of a staff decision by a property owner here in town. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Chris came over to our city council meeting last month and requested that we remove the trees, oak trees in front of his property at 25624 State Street. And the claim was the trees is uplifting the sidewalk and damaged the water lateral and also damaged the driveway. So my staff went out to look at, met with Chris out at his home a couple of times, and we have solved a lot of problems that the issue that came up. We fixed the sidewalk. We worked with him on repairing the water lateral, because the water lateral, if it caused by the water lateral behind the water meter had to be repaired by the property owners. And if it determined that it caused by the city trees, then he could file a claim against the city, and then we can pay him back. So, Annette, can you pull up the picture, please? Next, please. Okay, so this is the oak trees in front of Chris' house. This is the, okay, it's the trees. And in the staff report, he also have some additional pictures in the staff report too. So it's a trees, and if you can look at it, it's a nice mature oak trees that we had. Arborists went out and did an investigation, and it looked like the trees in good shape, good healthy condition. So my recommendation is no, we're gonna save the trees, because in the past, every couple of years, we always have a trees issue that came up to the city council. In the past, the city council gave the staff the direction that we will save all the mature trees, and if it lift up the sidewalk, lift up the curb and gutter, the city will repair those. And we have been repairing the curb and gutter that lifted by the trees, root of the trees, or sidewalk. So we have been doing that. And another reason I would like to save the trees is I went out there and took a look at, yep, this will work, State Street. Okay, so this is Curtis, this is State Street. You will see a lot of oak trees out there. And if you look down State Street, there's trees on both sides. So, okay, this is State Street right here. It's a cul-de-sac. So a lot of trees out there. So have a nice canopy out there for oak trees. And so it make a neighborhood. So therefore, my recommendation to save the trees and save the neighborhood. So the property owner is here. That be happy to listen to him. So.
All right. Chris, I don't want to mess up your last name, so I'm just going to say, Chris, would you like to come up?
Let me make sure I get the mic right this time. So I wanted to clarify, it's just one tree, not trees. And then we do love the trees. I made a quick statement, if I could read it.
Absolutely.
Okay, it says, thank you, Mayor and City Council members, for the opportunity to speak. My name is Christopher Juden Pytel from 25624 State Street. I'm here tonight to formally appeal the staff's decision. We love this tree. It was a major reason we bought our home, but our affection for the tree, it does not change the fact that it's now a direct threat. Its roots have broken the water main line to our house, risking contamination of our drinking water. They have repeatedly damaged the public sidewalk, and the liability of the city has had to fix several times. The city's desire to preserve this tree is understandable, but it is not an acceptable justification for contamination of our drinking water. Oh, sorry. And damaging our property. Preservation cannot come at the cost of a resident's health and safety. We're not asking for anything the city hasn't done already. Trees at 25623 and 25570 State Street were removed for the exact same reasons. The roots were destructive. A temporary fix is not a solution. The roots will regrow, and this costly damage will happen again and again. We've provided you with a full packet of evidence. I hope everyone's had the opportunity to read all of it. In addition, I must now bring up to your attention the urgency of another safety hazard that I, until recently, allowed to slip my mind with the stress of dealing with the water line break. Directly buried under the same root system as our natural gas line. It was previously marked by 811. I called them to have it remarked for this meeting, but with such short notice, they weren't able to make it out in time. We have an aggressive rooting tree known for damaging infrastructure, now implicated in damaging one pressure utility line and sitting directly atop another. If the roots can fracture a water line, the risk they pose to the gas line is a clear and imminent public safety danger. Council members, you're the final decision makers. Staff has made their position clear. The only permanent solution is removal. I'm asking you to overturn the staff's decision, approve the removal of the tree, and allow us to finally make a safe and permanent repair to our home.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind hanging out for a second, do we have any questions from the council? Dr. Daly.
I'm out of my district, so pardon me, Ovi. I'm sorry, but for a few months, yeah. Oh, okay. I want to try to understand the context of all of this, because I went, the tree we're talking about is at the end of a cul-de-sac, correct?
Correct.
And when I drove through there, I wasn't only looking at your tree, all of the other trees in that neighborhood are dense. And the city manager and I had 2 conversations today about trees that blew over in the city of Loma Linda. Well, usually the reason that happens is because they're too dense. And so when a wind gust hits them and there's enough water, the root structure can't handle the forces that push the tree over. So my concern, so there's 2 issues, I think. My initial concern was those are dense trees that could blow over. They need to be thinned out so the wind blows through them instead of pushing them over. That's my concern. But the second issue that you're raising has to do with breaking through a gas line.
Water line. The mention of the gas line was I didn't have time to prepare it for this agenda.
But they're in the same basic vicinity. So describe that issue for me from your perspective.
So because we're on the end of the cul-de-sac, our front yard comes to a point. And if we can can I ask to bring the pictures back up if that's okay? Oh, that one's perfect. So you can see on the left, we planted some ice plant to kind of cover all the roots. Oh, thank you.
Right.
Okay, so we planted these ice plants. Hasn't grown in here yet, but we planted all these to cover the roots because that entire thing is roots. And this section here is only a few feet wide, as you can tell on the picture for the right. Now, all of our utilities, or at least our water and our gas that's our water, and our gas, according to 811, runs directly under the tree to our gas meter over there. I cannot hold steady at all. Right there, that didn't help. So according to 811, and then our water line, you can see it. Those 2 utilities run directly underneath the tree roots.
So what's the city's perspective? Because I got to say, he's making valid points. We got water lines, we got gas lines,
Yes.
we got roots, we got big trees. My perspective, which is minimal compared to those issues, is that they're too dense. They need to be thinned out for sure.
The city budget the money to thin the trees every year. So that's a routine things that we do.
Those haven't been thinned out
So
for a while.
therefore we can schedule it to be thin. That's no problem.
Okay.
But yes.
Is your mic?
Yes. Okay. But the problem is the city in the past, the city in the direction of the city council, you want to save the mature trees. You're willing to have the city spend money to trim trees, money to relocate the water line, the sewer line, because sometimes it lifts the sewer lateral also, and lift the sidewalk and curb and gutter. And so there's a lot of street in this city that have a lot of mature trees, tulip, daisy, Lawton. So at the direction of the city council to save the trees, and we're willing to spend the money to relocate other utilities. And that was the direction in the past. Now, to remove these oak trees is not cheap neither. It costs a lot of money. And so, again, it's up to your direction, what you want to do.
Dr. Daly, can I add to your concern about the tree being blown over because of the dense canopy?
Please.
In our situation, because we're at a pinch point, we also had an arborist come out and take a look at it on our own. And he said it's now common understanding that the roots don't actually go that deep. Maybe the taproot does. And he said if this tree had a taproot back then, we don't know. But it's the lateral roots that actually hold the tree down. And we're missing the entire south and east side of our
And missing the entire what?
south and east side of the lateral root structure.
Do you have a copy of that report?
No, he didn't want us to pay him to do it. Sorry, it's just my word, but you have to take it for that. But he didn't want us to pay for his report and then have you guys refer to the city arborist first. He said he's willing to do it, and we can get that, but
Well, I think in any type of like hearing or proceeding, you're going to have conflicting experts. And I'm assuming we have a report from our arborist, correct? Yes. And what does our arborist say?
Say the trees is
Healthy.
healthy, yes.
does he speak to the roots?
That's
But
that's the
healthy's not addressing the issue of
Our,
root impact on water and gas lines.
our arborist also said the tree's very healthy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Said the trees what?
healthy. Our arborist agreed with
okay.
the city's arborist.
So far you've had an issue with the water line. That's something that
That's
did
the only-
occur.
Correct.
But you're guessing that you're going to have an issue with the gas line.
I hope not.
Right. Yes, sir.
What are the materials for the water and gas lines?
I'm assuming galvanized for the gas. The plumber said it was galvanized for the water.
No, the water is galvanized. A lot of time is the gas line is a yellow plastic lateral.
Even given the age of that neighborhood?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I need to go look at it.
How do we know that the galvanized line isn't due for replacement anyway because of rust?
Again, the property, based on the city code, the property owner is responsible for the lateral from the water meters to his house.
I understand, but my question is it the tree's fault or is it the age of the line?
It's the age.
Or both?
The house probably built.
I think your microphone's off.
The house probably built over 50 years ago. The city even incorporated 55 years, and the tree's probably older than that. So,
Yeah.
so.
How often does this come up in the city for oak trees? Right? Like how often? Because I can tell you for the palm trees have invasive. My neighbor planted palm trees. Within 2 years, she had to rip those things out because those are aggressive root system to keep the palm tree from falling over. But how often do we have this for?
Every 2 years, every 2-3 years. You know,
We just
four of you been here a long time, so
Yeah.
so we went through this many times. So
You know, it's the challenge, and I'll just throw this out there, is that we have equal numbers of folks that will come here that will be quite upset that we're talking about removing a tree. We invested pretty heavily in a recognition to be a
Tree City USA.
Tree City
Yes.
USA, that we did that a couple of years ago, and there's definitely a very engaged group of folks that will come down here and make their voices known that we should not be removing any trees based on the environmental.
Although they're not here.
They're not here. Yeah.
At the university.
It's not a very simple decision. It's more complex because we have a lot of people that are interested in this topic. So,
I want to ask Councilman Popescu, this is your district, your neighborhood. What's your perspective?
I don't think it really matters, but as far as
No, it does.
which neighborhood it is. But I mean, I live on the street, so I know it pretty well. I was stopped by there several times. I had a question. When was the last time you actually fixed the water line as a result of the damage?
Never. We've only been here 4 years now, so it's the first time it's happened.
So how long ago was the water line broken? I guess that's my question.
We're not sure. It was the city who notified us that it was leaking. So I've done for 2 months.
So the water line is broken now? I thought you said it was fixed.
No, it's broken.
It is broken right now,
Correct. Yeah.
and it's leaking water.
Correct.
And you've been able to identify where the leak is and where the damage is and show that it's actually because of the tree?
We can't do that without opening up the tree and risking remove the tree roots and the structure of it. The plumbers that came out said we need to remove between 3 and 5 feet of the root system for them to get in there to make the repairs. We'll also have to remove the sidewalk, which likely will destroy anything
And
underneath
did
it.
they give you an estimate as to how much that's going to cost and how much time?
We have a bunch of estimates. They should be in the packet, but they vary wildly. One of them was $5,000 just to open it for exploratory looking. I think one of them came in as low as $7,000, but all of them recommended removal first.
So the city notified you that there was a leak and determined that the leak is on your side and therefore you're responsible for it.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I was led to believe that you already had repaired it once, but it has not been repaired.
Correct, not to my knowledge.
And the way we find that, I just had this happen to a friend of mine the other day, is all of a sudden you can tell when there's excess water being used at the property. And so that's an indication that there's a leak.
No, we have a smart meter now. We have a radio read meter. So the meter will tell the city and the finance department that the water is going all the time.
Right.
So that's how we determine there's a water leak. And then the finance will send that notice to my staff and we'll do a door hanging.
I got
That's it.
that. How do you know then that it's, because I got that and it was my toilets
Right.
in the house. How do you know where the leak is?
You don't know where the leak is. So first of all, you find out there's a leak at that location. And then the staff will go out and walk around at the permission of the
So we already determined that it's out front, it's not in the house?
Yes, in this case, it's up front. My staff went out there, met with him
Okay.
at his house.
So have we determined whether it's underneath the sidewalk or next to the house?
I wasn't out there.
The plumbers that came out determined that it's underneath the sidewalk.
Hold on, wait, though. Those are your, again, we're just trying to figure this out. So did our city employees go out there or did his privately hired plumbers go out there?
But two of my city employees went out there, met with him.
Correct.
Okay, and what did they tell you?
There's a leak.
But where?
But it's on
where?
behind the water meter side, in the property owner side,
But by the tree or where?
by the trees.
Behind the water meter.
Yes. See, the city, the code, you have a code section, the municipal code section 13.04.160. The water lateral from the water main to the meter box is responsibility of the city. The water lateral behind the water meters is the responsibility of the property owners.
So I don't know his house, but I'm assuming his water meter is close to the house.
To the street, no, sir, to the street.
It's by the sidewalk.
Oh, it's on the sidewalk.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So that's how you can tell it's on
yes,
that side.
yes, yes. Now, we did mention to him that if determined that after you fix it, this leak is caused by the city trees, he can file a claim against the city, with the city clerk, and we'll come out do the insurance company will come out and do an investigation, and then if determined yes, it's caused by the tree, and the city the insurance company reimburse him for it.
So we don't know that it's caused by the tree until we actually open it up.
Correct. Until the insurance company come out and so.
Just for a little historical perspective, I mean, you've already identified some of us are old people that have been on this council for a while. What is the traditional or historical basis for saving trees? I'm all for saving trees. I love shade. I mean, I'm a Norwegian with white skin, so I need shade. But help me understand what that tradition is against the facts we're talking about now.
Again, this is the direction of the city council, okay? That
From the
told the city
past,
staff.
from the
Yes,
past,
yes. But if you ask me, this street had a lot of trees, oak trees.
Street has, it's
Right, and it's a big neighborhood.
3 or 4, yeah.
So and that maybe that's a reason why the city council would like to save the trees, especially the nice mature trees. So, Councilor Rixby, you've been around a long time. You heard a lot of this many times before.
Yeah,
He's
and
been here for 40 years now. So,
if you look at the cases where we've removed a tree, it's because the tree was sick. We didn't remove it because the landowner wanted to get rid of it. It's because the tree was not healthy. And this is a healthy tree. So I think the default position of the city, as Jarb said, should be save trees, because the difference between a new town and an established town is trees. And it's, the age of the architecture as well. And if every time we have a problem where it's potentially the tree, we remove the tree, we're going to look like Moreno Valley and not like Redlands. And eventually we'll catch up with Redlands, but it's going to take another 100 years. But if we remove all the trees, we'll never get there. And, I don't think the homeowner really cares whether the tree is gone or there if his water line works and if his gas line is protected. So if we can make sure that happens, then I think it's, all things being equal, better to keep the tree. Yes, it'll happen again, but that's on us.
From a city perspective, having driven that street, there's multiple trees that are in the same shape.
Mhm.
So
All over the city.
Yeah,
I think
especially at that side of the city.
I think where Dr. Rigsby might be going with that is we run the risk of setting kind of a precedent.
Yeah,
um,
that's
in-
my point. I
in
agree.
regards to healthy trees that are causing issues, as opposed to the biggest one we just had was about 2 years ago, and that was specifically over a tree that was dying.
Yeah.
And we
it was
had
sick.
we had a couple of arborists give us very specific recommendations on that one.
But then the question is, how much is the city willing to budget and invest in sustaining old trees? I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying there's a practical
But I think-
reality to this too.
I think there's simple math. He's talking about a 7,000 bid. Now, would it be higher if the tree were still there?
That was with the tree removed.
So you don't
Right.
know what it is if the tree's
No,
still there?
nobody would fix it without the tree removed.
Okay, Jarb, what do you think? Would anybody punch through a root ball with a? If you can
No,
put lines in a street
go around
intersection
it. We can go around it.
under the driveway?
In our situation, there's no room to go around without damaging the roots that are already non-existent on the
Well-
south or east side.
Okay. Again, I wasn't there at your property. I was there at the street by Curtis and State, and I drove around, but I didn't get out and walk.
Can I address two? Can I-
Again, it can be done. It can be fixed. So because we
So
done
if
this
it's,
before.
if it's roughly 20,000 to remove a tree and it's about 7,000 to fix it, you can fix it 3 times, and it seems to go bad about once every 50 years.
Yes, it will cost about $20,000 to remove their trees. By the way.
I wanted to.
Yeah, so you can get 3 repairs for the cost of killing the tree.
Can I add a quick 3 comments?
Yeah, just hold on one sec. I want to address the question of why this would be something that would be of interest to us as a city, and I think it goes part in hand with our embracing our history, our heritage, and our blue zone mentality. All of that about health and wellness and community. One of the things that happens a lot that we actually get beat up sometimes over, we did for a few years, was the fact we don't look like Redlands. And right? And
we had students.
no, and that's legit. We had people that came in here and beat us up that we don't look like Redlands because we don't have enough trees. And obviously it takes time to plant trees, and we have a policy too. If we remove anything, we replace it with 2 trees somewhere. I'm trying to be careful here because I want to think about the other residents of the neighborhood, and I do believe that trees bring value to properties as well. I mean, I'm not a real estate agent, but I believe that to be
studies that show they do.
true. So I just think we do have to be very careful.
No, I don't think anybody on the dais is against trees and shade.
No, I was just bringing the background.
I was
But
just,
it's a practical reality I want to be sure we're addressing as well, because we have some difficult future discussions about budget in the city too. And so if this is going to be the policy, and I live with it, I can understand it. I just want to be sure that when we start talking budget and hard numbers, we're willing to devote some budget to anticipating these kinds of issues. Because the oak tree in Councilman Popescu's yard may go bad. And so where are we ready to go for this? So I'm trying to think big picture, not just about whether we like trees or not. I'm all for it. I'd like to keep all the trees. But again, Ovi, this is your district. So I know you say we're all councilmen for the whole city. I agree with you. But what's your perspective from your conversations with neighbors and friends. And
Yeah, and I want to give it,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
give it back to Chris here real quick. But before that, Jarb, what are the realities of us trying to determine where exactly that leak occurred and how it occurred? Do we have the tools and the ability to do that, or is that something that's getting us into
Did the
a
plumber
rabbit
went
hole?
out there and identified it for you, located it for you?
It's, they all four said it's right there at the meter, yeah, under the sidewalk.
Because I would assume that somebody is going to put a camera in there, right? Or can they? Do they? Is there a place to put a camera in to know where the actual damage is?
Yeah, we can find it because the water leak. There's a leak out there, so there's water there right underneath the sidewalk.
Yeah, so I think my comment might address that.
Okay.
There's some more photos in the packet. Is it possible to pull the packet up? I included photos of the water meter, and it's leaking inside of the box.
Oh, okay. I don't think she has.
She's not able to.
Those photos up there, but that helps.
So there's
yes.
That's in the meter.
So what if it's well, that's my question. What if it's the connection from the meter to the pipe? Like, how come we haven't explored that, or is that not something we do?
If it's leaking under the sidewalk, that's simple to fix. You don't have to go under the tree root ball at all.
The problem was it's on our side of the meter, and so that was a blanket, no matter what, no fix. But also, there's roots intrusion everywhere. If you look just in the box, it's basically roots. You can't even.
But it's a lot easier to take out roots that are under the sidewalk than the whole way under the tree.
Well, that's okay. I see what you're saying. We'd still like to go for full removal so we can replace it all the way up to the house. Because if it's rusted and leaking there, it's likely to just back up later, according to the plumbers. So any line that's already in the ground is going to fracture.
They like
a few feet up.
doing big jobs too.
So the first comment was to address the leak. The second one was the city not wanting to set a precedent of the tree removal so other people can come. Again, that's not something I think that should be relevant because it's a part of our safety, not a financial decision. It's a safety issue. And then also the precedent's already been set. There's at least 3 trees that have been removed on our street. One of them is from Nancy Wolf here, who submitted a letter.
That brings up a question of when that happened, how that happened, whether or not that had city council approval. It may have. I don't remember.
It was included in the packet. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I wish I knew exactly my first. Hello, my name is Nancy Wolf, and I live at 25623 State Street. I am his neighbor, and it was in 2012 that I wrote a letter to the city that here you see a brown Sequoia and then a white vehicle, and our tree was just towards the street from where that white vehicle is. And at the time, we were concerned because the driveway was really lifting a lot every few years. And you were very gracious, the city. We were very grateful because every few years you come out and you replaced the driveway and sidewalks there. It was somewhere between 2012 and probably 16 or 17. I could not find the letter. I think it's on a different computer. But that I wrote back because at that time we had elderly parents that were coming and visiting us and were walking on our property. And my father-in-law at that time, he tripped over a very significant raise in the on our driveway that was from the tree roots. And he barely caught himself. And I was very concerned for his safety and for the safety of my mother, who was also coming at that time. So it was at that point that I did write a letter and showed the pictures and just said that I was very concerned for the safety of the elderly folks that were coming to and from, and that was happening at a pretty rapid pace. Again, the area that the tree was in was probably no bigger than about this by this as far as dirt, and the other part was covered by driveway on either side. So that was just a little background of that. And yes, have seen his as well. And I'm just concerned because you can see the root ball there. It's actually really pushing on our sidewalk. that separates our two homes. And I love the trees. That's why one of the reasons I moved to the neighborhood is we live down the street and would love coming and walking. But I guess one of my questions is when I look now and see that oak trees are their root systems can go out a very long way, and they can be quite damaging to property, and it's not recommended anymore that oak trees be planted by homes, is my understanding, is if there may be something that you would consider doing different types of trees so that for the long term that our city can still be beautiful, but that maybe we would transition into something that is more sustainable.
And can I also add that there's another neighbor who wasn't able to attend and get me a letter in time to submit for the packet, who was willing to speak on our behalf, who also had a tree removed. He sent me a video on my cell phone. I don't know if you guys are interested in seeing that or not. But there was two other, two other trees that we could see in the neighborhood that have also been removed. We didn't want to go bother them. We didn't think this was going to be such a big ordeal. Also, and if I may add, the reason we didn't do that is Nancy, when she asked for her tree to be removed, they kind of just took it down. Well, it took a few years, but you didn't attend city council meetings. You didn't.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, most of us were here then, and I don't recall.
Okay.
Well, that's because the staff agreed with them. This time they don't. That's why it's here.
Right, and in there, I mean, it's hard to guess, but I mean, there could have been ailing properties in the trees or some reason that staff decided to make that decision, but not everything comes all the way up here. Yeah. Any other questions?
So it sounds like there's a debate about where the leak is, and there's also a difference of opinion. Some people say that the leak can be fixed without removing the tree, and others says it needs to be removed.
I believe our plumbers all said that it needs to be removed for a proper repair.
And our city staff thinks they can be fixed without removing the tree.
Correct.
Okay. So it seems to me that if the leak is truly by the water meter, it seems like it's worthwhile for the city to at least put the energy and effort in trying to get that done. And if it's determined that the only way it can be fixed is to remove the tree, then we'll have a different discussion. But until then, it's really a matter of opinion whether the tree needs to be removed or not. Now, having said that, I did notice that there was a bunch of trees that got removed from that street because I've been living there for maybe 30 years. And I did notice that the cities were getting less and less trees. And I'm sure different people remove them for different reasons. Some may have asked for permission, some may have not, I don't know. So I'm very much in favor of trying to do everything we can to preserve the trees. But at the same time, I feel for you with the idea that you may have to spend a lot of money and headaches to try to fix something. I myself had to replace the water line from the road to the house, and it was wear and tear over the years. They do go out. With your tree there, that makes it a little bit more challenging. It appears as if the city's willing to admit that if you can demonstrate that the tree is causing the problem, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to reimburse you. I know that I saw your letter, that's a larger risk that you don't want to take on, but I think given the fact that we've been discussing this for 45 minutes and second time at the council, I think you're going to have a very supportive council if the city decided not to reimburse you and you can demonstrate very clearly the tree was responsible. So I don't think that's going to be a big risk on your part. I'm not sure that the leak is as big as it appears, because I walked by there and I had no idea there is a leak. If it is, it's very, very, very minor.
That's correct. It's a very small leak.
Therefore, it's not becoming, a major issue, but obviously it needs to be addressed. in the interest of fairness, it seems like the city can take the initiative to at least make an effort to, it's unfortunate to break up the sidewalk and find out where the leak is, even if that requires going between the meter and the tree. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, because a lot of time is if there's a leak, especially a slow leak, the roof have a tendency to go toward the water, which is they got to go toward the pipe, and that causes the pipe leak even more. So okay.
I know we recently did some work on the sidewalks there. Was that sidewalk repaired this last time around? So I'm just curious,
Yes.
why did they not take the time to maybe investigate this a little bit further while they were opening that up?
Again, the sidewalk, maybe at the front of the house is still in good shape. That's why we didn't fix it.
Oh, so it wasn't fixed
No,
in front of the house?
It was, well, previously, before we
But
were
not
the
this
owner.
last time, because it was done
Well,
like 2
It
weeks ago.
was,
I would
no.
say sidewalks go up all over this. They go up in my neighborhood because of roots, and we don't always attribute them to leaks. So I think just going and fixing it
I
is
know.
not-
The only reason I bring that up is because I know you discussed it last month, and 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of work on our street with fixing sidewalks. I'm just curious as to why maybe they didn't take advantage of the time. But if they weren't even addressing that area, then it's a moot point.
I don't believe they were. I think it was just part of the routine sidewalk work that was done. They came out and ground it. I think just because of our meeting, I'm not sure how we end up on the list, but
No, every year we have a list of sidewalk that need to be repaired, and we use CDBG grant funding and the Measure I gas tax money. So
Oh,
it's
I
a
see.
routine. It's a routine
So
thing
it's
that we do every year.
just coincidental.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have trees in front of my house, and they tear up the sidewalks all the time. I mean, it's something that just happens quite a bit. And, the city will come through every once in a while and make those repairs as needed. That's, I think, just part of the challenge in making sure we have trees. And then we also still want to make sure we have sidewalks, and it's that whole rural versus urban interface type deal. But I kind of like what Councilmember Popescu was saying here, and that's where I was trying to go with this. I'm curious as to whether or not we should try to investigate a little bit more with our people. I'm a little cautious with plumber. Let's be real. I mean, plumbers right now are making more than brain surgeons, right? I mean, the reality is that those trades very hard to find people that want to do them, and so they can charge a significant rate, and rightfully so.
And the best way to find out that they're overcharging is see if anybody will do it for time and materials.
Well,
Nobody will do it. They want a big guess, $7,000.
well, yeah. I mean, I just had an issue with my backflow valve at my house, and I mean, plumbers make a lot of money. I guess what I would like to see, and if this is what Councilmember Popescu was talking about, is the city go and investigate that a little bit more, and maybe open up the sidewalk and look and see what that connection looks like to the meter moving forward. And if we can determine, I have faith. I truly believe that if our folks open it up and they really see that it's a significant issue and damaged by the trees, they're not going to try to, I don't want to say that, I don't even say it, cover it up or anything like that. They're going to
No, I wasn't. I hope I
they're going to
wasn't
say,
saying.
hey, this is a significant issue and it's our issue. But I think my struggle with this a little bit is we have experts that are making determinations from above the ground without ever digging into anything, and so we're not really certain. And then I am concerned a little bit with setting a precedent on this type of thing. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
So let's do this, Chris. Again, from what I feel from the city council, I think they want to save the trees. So let me do this.
Yeah.
Again, I would like to work with you. I mean, if the city staff can go out there and dig up, break the sidewalk, and if they show that the leak is on the city side, we'd be happy to fix it. And even now that the water is in the meter box, well, we can remove the root in the box and find out where it is. So again, we want to work with you. That's why my staff went out there
Is that
many
what you're
times.
thinking, or?
Well, I'm willing to go even further than that. You're not going to be happy about this, but if it's determined that there's a leak that may be caused by the tree, then maybe the city needs to make an effort to go around the roots and make sure that the water line is not going to be an issue for the future. So we can fix it all once and for all.
Well, that's why I'm kind of, I trust that our folks are going to open it up and do the right thing, and whatever they see, they would bring that back and present it to us with
That's
the right
fine.
decision.
And-
I
and-
truly believe that.
And I should point out that the city did give him permission to remove whatever roots he needed to move. So it's not like he's not able to fix it. We're giving him the opportunity to fix it. Unfortunately, it is expensive. There's no doubt about it. And that's one of the reasons, some people decide to rent while the others, buy houses. There's a lot of expenses, and they're unforeseen. You get leaks in your roof, and suddenly you have to spend $20,000 to fix your roof. So trees, unfortunately, are a blessing, but they're also a nuisance. And, we all have tree issues. I mean, in my backyard, I've got all sorts of challenges where my tree may actually fall down and on my house, and I have to make a decision. Should I really cut a few more branches, or do I take the risk of keeping the walnut tree behind my house? So there's always those, unfortunate situations. But I am concerned that we are setting a precedent, and it sounds like if this council in the past removed it because people complained about it, obviously they must have had legitimate reasons for agreeing that, yes, it's a definitely safety hazardous situation, that if we do not remove it, the city is going to incur serious liability. In this case, I do not see that particular situation.
All right. Do we have a motion or some direction that we can all kind of get behind?
No motion, but a comment.
Yes, sir.
In my view, I don't disagree with most of what's been said, but it all sounds like apple pie and motherhood to me. Everybody loves apple pie. Everybody salutes the flag. But I'm going to come back to a practical reality. We ran a negative budget this year. Do we have a line item budget to handle these kinds of issues in the budget?
Yes, sir. We have a line item for tree trimming. Yes, we do.
Well, that's tree trimming. That's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
I was talking about tree trimming before.
Yes.
I think that we got a lot of tree
Yes.
trimming to do.
Yes. And
But
we also have a
these
line
kinds of
item.
issues,
Yes. We have a line item for repairing sidewalk, curb and gutter. That damage, we have a line item for that also.
and
But-
that budget in the past has been adequate to cover whatever these kinds of issues are?
Yes, and what in addition to that, we hardly use general funds, sir. We use, like I said, CDBG money and the Measure I.
No,
You're talking for the
yeah,
for the
I
site.
understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
On that note, are you allowed to use monies from the water fund on this? Would this
Well,
be
the water fund will be for if we have to fix a lateral. Yes,
correct? So there is money in that.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
part of repair. So
Okay.
I kind of like where Jarb was going before he was interrupted. I don't think we can make a motion that would add to whatever Jarb's got in his head.
Say it again.
I think I'll just make the motion. Jarb, fix it.
And just leave it open to use his judgment. Okay.
I want the direction that we want to save the trees.
Correct.
Let's get
Jarb,
that.
fix it with the intention of saving the tree.
Correct. I would support that.
Yeah. And if you can't, then bring it back and
Okay.
tell us why.
I will work with, and again, at the same time, we have a municipal code that have to follow, but let me work with my staff and try to do our best.
Okay, perfect. Can I add one quick thing? I didn't mean to insinuate that water staff or anybody would, purposely damage the line to hide any evidence. I just meant the actual physical act of it would do that.
No. I mean, because we just got to make sure that we're getting all the correct information, and and I'm not saying that those folks that came out and gave you bids were off, but they're like Dr. Rigsby said, they're trying to make money too out there in the world. And so I think it's important to find what the issue is, and if it is indeed that much of an issue. I guess I kind of thought prior to this meeting that we had opened some things up and looked at some stuff. And a lot of this is just all guesstimation from the top side.
Yeah, and I guess my perspective is coming from a very different point of view, and that is public safety. If we have a history of these kinds of trees or whatever, raising sidewalks that could lead to the kinds of injuries and issues that were described earlier, I see that as primary.
So
I
have to, I just want to address that. What are those nasty trees in front of my house? What are they called?
California
Horrid, right? I mean, the worst tree that anybody could ever put in. But those things push up every tree pushes up sidewalks. My palm trees on the inside of my property push up the pavement in my backyard. So I just would say we have to be careful. I'm not a tree expert by any means, but I think a lot of trees obviously have a root system that pushes stuff up, and sidewalks are constantly repaired by cities.
So I think that comes back to us and whoever plans these developments, because all these development plans, and we've got some on the agenda that are going up now, I think these are factors that need to be considered. That we don't just keep planning or approving whatever cheap trees the developer can put in that may leave us with these kinds of problems. And I'm sensitive to the issues of elderly people tripping on these things. And if we know this is a history, I have a problem with it.
Okay.
And I like shade.
All right, so I think we have direction. Hopefully we get some movement, and if not, then we may see or hear this.
How do we have direction? We haven't voted on anything. Have we voted on it?
We haven't, we met
we had
a
a
first and second. Now it's just a matter of by consensus or yea or nay.
Okay, well, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, you want to vote? Let's take a vote. Madam Clerk.
I may not have the appropriate title. Let me see if I can. Motion is for the city to work with the property owner to make the repairs with the intention to save the tree,
If possible.
if possible.
And then I think to bring it back to us if we can't get there in the next month.
Okay, and bring it back to city council.
Does that encompass your motion?
I don't know if you actually said to make the repairs. It says to investigate.
There are issues of setting precedent by the city repairing things that are the responsibility of the homeowner. But this went to the city council, and that precedent does not apply to issues that have not yet come to the city council. So I think we can say this is a special circumstance.
Okay.
You still good with your
Okay that.
second?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. We clear on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds great. Let's take a vote.
Please vote. Mayor Pro Tem, your vote is not registering?
It's taken a while to come up, so and it's blacking out.
Motion passed by a vote of four yeas and 1 nay.
Okay, don't take this the wrong way, but hopefully we don't see you next week.
Likewise. Can I ask one question
Yes,
before
sir.
I go? I know the gas line wasn't included in this motion. Is the gas line something that would have to start the process over again and brought back up as a different agenda item?
I would assume that when the city takes a look at whatever they're going to look at there, they're going to come back with that information recommendation. I don't think specifically we mentioned anything about gas lines because that's not in the equation at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Sir. Okay, we had moved a consent calendar item now to 4B, is that correct?
Yes, thank you, Drew. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and the council. This is item 5L, Councilman Daly is toward the back. I move it up front. So last week, Lorraine and I had a meeting with the owner of Spring Honda, Spring Mazda, Quaid Holly, the motorcycle place, and the new owner of Hyundai, which is this area right here, the auto center. This is Redlands Boulevard. This is the I-10 freeway. And this here is Quaid. I'm sorry, this Quaid, okay? And this Mazda, this is Honda, and this is Honda, and this is Hyundai, okay? So if you remember many years ago when we used to have RDA, the city worked with auto dealerships, the owner, we put up that billboard over there on the freeway. We met with them and said yes, the city had been trying to improve the Redlands Boulevard, which is paved that earlier this year. But being that this is a private road, the U shape right here is a private street, and so the property owner and the auto dealership asked maybe we can work with them. You know, they have three concerns. One is the pavement. Second is the landscape along Redlands Boulevard. And the third is this electronic billboard right here, that sign. Not electronic, it's a sign, okay? So I said, well, let me bring it to the city council to see if we can use the special project construction fund, okay, for this, at least part of this project, being it's a private properties, okay? On Redlands Boulevard, we can handle the landscaping portion. But I want to get the city council direction if you can authorize me to spend a special project construction fund for the pavement rehabilitation of this interior street right here, and maybe we can negotiate with the owners of the three dealership. Okay, maybe we can take care of the landscaping along Redlands Boulevard and pave the street, and you can take care of the signage. So that's my plan. I just need your direction.
What's the particular issue with the signage? I get the issue with
It's just old. It's just faded. So
yeah, and that little roadway has not been paved since this was all first developed years ago.
Correct. It's been paved just a section of it when there was this water leak a couple of years ago.
Okay. And just for the record, I know everybody knows this, but for the three people watching in the audience, these dealerships are still a primary source of our revenue that we bring into the city, correct?
Yes, and I already did the plan. I did the construction cost estimate. It's probably cost about $150,000 to pave the street.
And that money exists in the old RDA funds that we can't really do anything with anyway, except potentially
right? No. What is it?
The Special Projects Construction Fund.
So it's not old RDA money?
No, this is.
But it's not general fund either.
Governmental funds. No.
Yes. Okay.
So, if I understand you correctly, Jarb, you're saying that we're offering to help pay for the sign and improve it, or they're paying for that?
Well, I'm negotiating with them.
Okay.
So maybe if the city council approve, we can do the pavement rehab because that's what I can do. But I'm not an expert in signage, so I can do pavement, I can do landscaping toward the front. So just to make it look nice, appearing to the customer that will come to the auto dealerships. So staff recommendation is for you to give me a direction and spend special projects construction fund to do those projects.
So if we help them with the signage, how much more money are we talking about? Because we've had many conversations. I'm coming back to budget again. We've had many conversations that we have a need to increase businesses in the city of Loma Linda to increase the tax revenue to support the government that we want to have.
Yes.
And so we're talking about what you've described. How much additional money are we talking about with supporting those businesses with upgraded signage?
I don't have that number, sir. They will.
That makes a difference to me, though.
Not to get into too much here, I think in the public forum, I do know that there's continual dialogue with some of these businesses that may or may not have business space in other communities that potentially could be looking to either increase their footprint here or, similar to some of the other things that we've done to encourage businesses to take a look at us. I think is some of the stuff
Which is making my point.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's some of the stuff that's probably going on behind the scenes.
Yes,
in terms of
the
those
drive-in theaters, for example.
those communication pieces that I think are being had, and so I'm guessing that they're saying, well, what is it that you can do to show us how interested you guys are in?
You made the
promoting
point
our
better
business.
than me.
Yes, and Councilman Daly, right now, I'm only asking you permission to at least look into it. For example, if I go out to bid for pavement rehabilitation, I have to come back to you to award the contracts. So you,
I am fine with that.
and then hopefully by that time, I will work with the three property owners and dealerships owners and said, hey, what do you want to do with the sign? Are you going to replace the whole sign or you just replace the panel? I don't know. So.
No, I think that's fair. My point is we need to amp up our game to attract
Yes.
Businesses that bring tax revenue to the city.
Yes.
What do we need to do? That's my point in this.
What we need to do is you give me the permission to spend a little bit of a special project construction fund and improve the interior street, landscaping, and if we have money for the sign, more power to us.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Then do we need to do a public hearing, or are you ready for a motion?
I think this is just direction to staff, but I'm not sure based on the last one if we want to do a motion or just general consensus.
I think you can just indicate generally that you support the recommendation.
I'm good with that, but I want to up our game to attract more businesses. That's my
Quick question. The large lot just south of Hyundai, who owns that property? No, the other one,
The paved one.
the paved one. Okay, so
Sweet Master.
and then who owns the property of the dirt?
Same.
Same. Oh, they own that as well.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And the Hyundai is a new owner. So he told us that he want to redo the whole showrooms.
Okay.
So he want to spend a lot of money.
Just
No,
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, sir.
I would just. That's really good prime real estate, obviously along Redlands Boulevard.
And they also own, Spring Honda also own this, the old restaurant,
Correct. Okay.
Hometown Buffet. And across the street, the
That's true,
antique
the
mall.
old- that's true.
The antique store shop.
Spring is taking over the city. I was just going to make a general comment that if building goodwill with them is actually very important, I think it's just a good private partnership. If there's any way that we can collaborate and maybe doing something in some of that land that can benefit both of us, I think we need to open to that. So that's maybe something that we may want to start exploring.
Yes, we approached him with that, and luckily I took Lorena with me, and he has a question regarding improving the building, improving the sign. I said, you talked to the right person, so.
Dr. Rigsby.
Can we, before we fix that street, can we make sure that they don't want to combine those two lots and not have a street running through the middle of it? Can you talk to Spreen about,
In the middle.
the dirt lot and the paved lot? Would they ever want to combine those to make a lot big enough to put in another dealership? And if so, you don't want to have your street running through it. Ask him specifically.
Okay.
When I look at those, neither one of those lots looks big enough for a big dealership. So if he wants to put in another dealership, I would think he would want to combine them. So at least plant the seed and find out if he doesn't want that before you
Okay.
pave it.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I think you've got direction, but I'll just make a comment. We were at the League of Cities conference last week in Long Beach, and I know I was looking for you too. So I was leaving. I had to come back and forth a couple of times, and I was leaving. I was getting on the freeway, and this car kind of cut me off, and it had a Spreen Honda license plate frame, Loma Linda, and I thought that's pretty random, but no, I don't think so. Anyway. They're all over. No, I'm serious. I've driven all over, and I see the Loma Linda Spreen Honda frames everywhere. All right, that concludes our scheduled agenda items. Let's move on to the consent.
Move it.
First and
Second.
a second, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Motion is to approve the consent calendar as submitted. Please vote. I'm sorry. Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to new business, reports of council members.
Just a general report, you can probably agree with what I'm about to say, which is we attended the League of Cities conference. Always a very great opportunity to network with other cities. I personally had an opportunity to actually meet the city manager of San Bernardino and actually had lunch with him, which was very interesting. Learned a lot about that city. Met briefly with the city manager of Fontana, and networked with a lot of council people, mayors from other cities. Learned a lot from that. Spent some time with ESRI. They guided me in how we can get some data relative to public safety, and learned a lot more about what the League of Cities is doing for us. If some of you check your emails, they send quite a few emails with specific issues relative to how Sacramento is constantly infringing on local control, and they're a big advocate to ensure that we still have a say in how we develop and many other rules regarding how we conduct ourselves, from homelessness to public safety and many other issues. So it's a great opportunity to continue to support them in their efforts, and they're a very valuable ally and resource for helping us manage and understand what other cities are doing. We get to learn from them. We get to make sure they don't do some of the things that they're doing and trying to mimic the things that we're successful in. So it was overall a very good conference.
At the luncheon that we went to for our local chapter, there was an expert on seismology and talked about the big one. And that was a pretty depressing thing to do at lunchtime. But it was pretty interesting to talk about what will happen, or potentially what will happen if we encounter earthquake on the San Andreas Fault. And one of the things that was brought up very specifically is right now, and she said this very clearly, she said, none of your cities or agencies have the ability to manage anything by yourself. You all depend on mutual aid. And when an event like that happens, it's so big that there is no mutual aid. And everything that's going to have to help us is going to come from out of state. So it just got me thinking again about our position, where we're at as a city. Thank you, Dr. Daly, for bringing up budget stuff. I am kind of concerned, I'm still concerned about where we're at in terms of our budget and how we passed a deficit budget again this year. I know we talked a little bit last year about different options, including one of them being the potential of increasing our sales tax here in the city. And I would like to look at that again and explore what may or may not have changed, and if there's anything that we should be looking at. And I would like the city manager to bring something back next month for us to talk about. And then anything else from council members?
Did you notice there was a 2.8 earthquake in Mentone a few days ago? Could be the first.
I didn't, but it was interesting how she talked about some of these big quakes that we've had. And again, not a seismologist myself, but she talked about how none of their fingers or tentacles had actually touched San Andreas. And they do believe that another earthquake could set it off.
Mentone is on the fault.
I'm just listening to the expert. She said nothing has touched it so far where it would have set it off.
It could start running the zipper.
Yeah.
I have a note. Well, not on the earthquakes. Did you have on the earthquakes? But a number of people in the community have a few concerns. One of them, and I wanted to say thank you to you guys for cleaning up the homeless camp over the wash. They did say that there's still a lot of graffiti on that, and they're wondering. I know we're talking. There's a random bush that has grown up that they use as shade. They're asking that if that random bush in the wash can be removed so that they are stopped because it seems to be the place where they're making like tree forts. So they said thank you that the people moved quickly, but they're wondering if there's still cleanup that could be done.
Yes, we have already made an appointment with the county flood control. But one thing about the trees along the flood control is somewhat habitat. So, and we can remove those habitat, but let me work with the county.
Or cut it back because the thing has gotten really big.
Yes.
If they can.
Yeah.
And then another one was complaining about I guess it's getting really bad in Anderson. Any time of the day when you're getting off the freeway, the coordination of the lights, they said, is another. The coordination of, I got an earful. I went to outdoor school and all the parents were there. So they started making a list of what they.
This was my issue. The problem is, and can we get them to synchronize their.
Yeah, working together with all, because they pointed out all three areas to just coordinate.
And it seemed like twice a year we have to deal with this, and the problem is we have to deal with three agencies.
Yes.
One is the City of Loma Linda,
Yes.
Caltrans, and the City of
Yes.
San Bernardino. And Caltrans will not change anything, so
We have to coordinate with work on their schedule.
Well,
Right.
and the problem is their light does not run on GPS. Therefore, it's inaccurate and it cycles through.
Is that what
It-
throws it off?
However we
Yes.
can fix
So
it.
we set it with GPS and we're perfectly timed, and then theirs is on a different time. So it gradually cycles around and becomes wrong. And then it gradually comes back right again.
So if we can somehow go back and be a thorn in the side of somehow being the noisy, squeaky wheel that they have to.
Well,
we have been.
The
They
best
fix
way,
that.
I think the best way to do it is to get our SBCTA representatives to catch the Caltrans guy at the meeting.
Yeah, he's there every meeting. But Jarb, I know you said that they don't want to work with us. I'd like to see a letter from them saying, we will not fix your light and we don't care about your traffic.
No. They work with us, have to come out, but it's just take a long time. So I deal with them a lot.
Because I think they're going to want to work with us on this. This is actually an ongoing issue. And it
This
sounds
was
like
a
it gets
heat.
fixed and then sometimes it comes back again.
Yeah.
One extra item that I need to mention. I would like to get consensus from the council to put an item on the agenda, not for November, but for December, which is there's a property owner who has a project. He's missed the deadline. We would have to make an exception to whether he can bring this item back to us, but the council needs to make that decision. So we would like to at least have the opportunity to discuss as a group whether he's able to bring it back to us. So I would like to get consensus from council to put that on December agenda if that's possible.
Okay, so Jarb, you'll come back to me with update because they're going to request me to come back and update them on these city lights. Okay, so I'll let them know. And then another one had called Lynette and was asking, why is there no voting at the Bryn Mawr Elementary? The only voting, and she lives over in my district across the street from me, and she said the only voting for the special election is at Mission, but she said the elderly people can't walk there.
So, yeah.
No, it's at two locations.
Where?
It's City Hall.
City
City Hall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because
And-
on their packet, it says, she was showing me her packet and said they're mandating voting at Mission, but that's not.
Everybody's address has an assignment, and my address has City Hall.
Because hers has mission, like
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
And she said it's ridiculous to think the elderly are going to walk to
Well,
mission.
They reduced the number of voting places, and the cynics
Oh.
say it's so that they can depress the vote.
So that was not anything of us, because she was saying, find out why we.
That's where I want to jump in. Just, we have to be super, super clear. We have zero control over
Okay.
that. That is 100% the register
Okay.
of voters. So we just got to get that message back
Okay,
that is
we'll send that
nothing
to
to do
her.
with the city.
And then the last thing I've been hearing, this is rumors, and why I was like reaching out to you and Dan, is that there is concern because we have the new fire station that's almost built. In fact, I went with Dan probably like 2 months ago, and there's even people driving the VA vans are excited for when that will open. But then there's rumors saying that Station 2 will close and the people will move over there. And I said, well, we have to, be very transparent of how we want to move forward with this, because past precedent in Oakland, Detroit, Michigan, and other places, when you close a fire station, it sets you up for all kinds of things, especially if there's an economic injustice and different racial profile as well as economic injustice. So we have to be very careful of how we go about if we're going to staff that new one, because I know the elephant in the room is the budget. And that's basically what it all comes down to, is how do we, that fire station will probably be open finished by December. I think by December, when we drive by, and by the way, if you haven't seen it, it's a beautiful station. I think if we could have those doors from the front of that station here, but is just a beautiful building. So to leave it empty is kind of, that's not great either. But I know we have our Station 2 as well. So we just have to think about what do we do? How do we go about that?
Come back to this council. And so it's not my decision to make, it's up to all of you, so.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Anything
Nope,
else?
that's it. Thank you.
Dr. Daly? No? Good. Okay, sir. All right. Reports of officers.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to get clarification. Councilmember Popescu was looking for consensus to put an item on the December agenda. Was there that consensus? I didn't.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, thanks.
I'm not even sure what that means. So it's to put an item that we have no clue what it means on the December agenda. If that's what we're saying, then
I did say what it means. Maybe you didn't understand. The issue is someone's appealing a decision to city council. That appeal expired. We have to make an exception to reconsider the appeal.
So
Simple as that.
It's not.
It's not the item itself. It's not the project.
Not
It's
the
just
appeal.
simply whether we'd be willing to consider giving them a second chance to appeal to us. That's it.
And they missed. Oh, okay.
Correct.
I guess my questions will come when the appeal comes up.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
may I just say one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
For people looking, regarding the elections. I did have someone come speak to me regarding the elections and about the voting location. I did contact the ROV and spoke with them. They did indicate because this special election was put together so in such a tight schedule that they weren't able to secure as many locations, but they did tell me that voters can go to either location to vote. And we also have other options. Of course, we have our ballot box here, so anyone can, that ballot box is now open. And in other several locations, if you go to their website, but voters can begin dropping their ballots beginning now in the ballot box.
And she made sure to say and recommend that in the future, if there's any way, because we have such an older population with being a blue zone, they don't want to do mail-in because their signatures are going to be thrown out. Their signatures will not match what they've signed back in 1970. So they're worried. So if there's a way that we can let the people know who decide where you're voting at, that we need additional, like some additional places where they can go, because they can't drive. Many of them, another one of my neighbors lost her license because she crashed cars on Newport. So we have to be very careful that we allow them to walk.
And I also, just to add, that was another item that I did talk to the Register of Voters office regarding signatures. They do have a mechanism that will view them, electronically, but then humans will be reviewing them as well, and they do take into consideration the changes in the signatures.
Their signature review standards are completely different for elections and for nomination papers. I can guarantee you that. They threw out my signatures on my nomination papers, my own signature, and I was the candidate.
I would also suggest that all those are absolutely valid concerns. I think a lot of us have. These issues should be brought up to the County Board of Supervisors, who directly oversee the Register of Voters. And I truly believe our county supervisors are very open and understanding of the concerns, at least our specific supervisor in our district. And so, yeah, I think those things those concerns need to be brought up. So, all right, I think that concludes our report. Yes, sir. And we'll see you next month.